There was a general discussion among the children in Paheli and Bujho's class about the places they had visited during the summer vacations. Someone had gone to their native village by a train, then a bus, and finally a bullock cart. One student had travelled by an aeroplane. Another spent many days of his holidays going on fishing trips in his uncle's boat. The teacher then asked them to read newspaper articles that mentioned about small wheeled vehicles that moved on the soil of Mars and conducted experiments. These vehicles were taken by spacecraft all the way to Mars. Meanwhile, Paheli had been reading stories about ancient India and wanted to know how people travelled from one place to another in earlier times. Story of transport. Long ago, people did not have any means of transport. They used to move only on foot and carry goods on their back. Later on, they began to use animals for transportation. For transport through water routes, boats were used from ancient times. To begin with, boats were simple logs of wood in which a hollow cavity could be made. Later, people learned to put together different pieces of wood and give shapes to the boats. These shapes imitated the shapes of the animals living in water. Invention of the wheel made a great change in modes of transport. The design of the wheel was improved over thousands of years. Animals were used to pull carts that moved on wheels. Until the beginning of the 19th century, people still depended on animals, boats and ships to transport them from place to place. The invention of steam engine led to the development of new means of transport. Railroads were made for steam engine-driven carriages and wagons. Later came automobiles such as motor cars, trucks and buses. Motorized boats and ships were used as means of transport on water. The early years of 1900 saw the development of aeroplanes. These were later improved to carry passengers and goods. Electric trains, monorail, supersonic aeroplanes and spacecraft are some of the contributions of the 20th century. Are there any of the early modes of transport that are not in use today? If there are any, mention in comment. Subscribe this channel for next part of this chapter.